I hope all of you are having a happy and positive start to the new school year. And with me today, we have Kelly and Tim. We are the Writable team, part of the customer success team that supports customers, whether that is in our live chat or trainings for schools and districts. So we will be your hosts today, walking you through what's new and Writable for the 22-23 school year. So with that, I want to remind everyone that we do have some upcoming webinars as well. So you'll see that September 14th will be a Writable 101. So if you're not registered for that and that sounds interesting to you, please get registered. You can do that on the Writable Academy. And we have the link in the slide deck, which we will be sharing with you toward the end of the webinar.
We're going to start with My Journeys. We're very excited about this new feature to Writable. And so journeys can really help guide you as a teacher when you're planning instruction and when you're thinking about incorporating that daily writing practice into class. It's a really good framework that can kind of guide us from those daily writing wins to what's next, to thinking about how can we use the data in the program, not only when we're planning our instruction, but also when our students are practicing and writing, but then maybe after their assignment as well, to maybe come up with some targeted skill practice and some groups and some recommendations for what's next. So we see an overview here, Writable journeys. We're going to start by just choosing our journey. Each journey you could think of as a different skill area, a different writing skill set. So argument writing, narrative, informational, you can see some examples. Each journey is going to have some high fives for more single skill aligned quick writing practice. We're going to have some targeted skill practice and more extended response performance tasks within each one of those journeys, within each one of those writing domains. And again, kind of along the way, we're going to see data. So to help guide us when we're planning, but then also to see where students are at with their skills and even come up with some targeted practice. So with that said, we're going to go right into the app here so we can see how to actually use our journeys. And we're going to start with Explore. And for us, we're just going to stick with middle school as an example. If you're following along, you should have the same exact journeys at all grade levels. So at the top, we can see My Journey. If we haven't chosen a journey just yet, we'll see links to a couple help articles. What is a journey? What's available? How do I use a journey? How do I think about planning and incorporating this practice daily into my class? So for us, we're going to pretend beginning of the year, we're thinking about choosing our journey. We might be starting off with, say, informational writing. So I'm going to select my journey here. Again, help articles. How do I use a journey? We have our three areas that we introduced: high fives, skills practice, and our extended response. So as a teacher and as we're planning our unit, we're probably thinking with the end in mind, right? We're thinking about that extended response, that performance task that we want to build our students up to. So if I hover over that extended response, I can see I have 12 options to fit informational writing. Let's browse those assignments. And to get us started, we're just going to start with an informational essay. So we'll click our essay. We can see all that content within that particular journey. And let's go ahead and preview as a student. In Writable, you're typically going to have one or multiple student-friendly prompts for your students. And we're just going to stick with 3 branches of US government to get us started here. And what I'd like to do is, again, with the end in mind, we're going to preview what are those major outcomes we want our students to meet by the end of this journey. So if we look at our rubric, engaging introduction, important points with facts and details, text structure, organization, inferences, all likely to be skills that we're going to be working on throughout that particular unit as we're doing our reading lessons and studying different informational texts. So this looks good for us. We're going to start with this, the end in mind. I'm just going to copy to my assignments, continuing along our journey here. So we've just copied that over. We're going to look at my journeys here in just a few minutes, but we want to just stick with Explore because we want to preview the other assignments we have in my journeys here. So we'll go back to explore, sticking with that informational writing. So skills practice, if you're looking for skills, mini lessons, again, those same skills in our rubrics, developing a topic, organizing ideas. We're going to be able to use these lessons to build our students up to scaffold towards that performance task. Practice and apply, really good writing application on these same skills. And then lastly, we'll also look at our high five skills quick writes. We're very excited about these because if you're new to Writable, it's a really good way to get started. And it's also a good strategy for just getting our students writing daily. So high five skills quick writes are all based on a single skill in that informational writing journey. Same rubric skills we looked at before. So demonstrate understanding, provide an introduction, develop your topic. And they're set up so if you are working on a particular skill, we can bring a prompt, we can start with the sample here, and we can give our students that writing practice aligning with what we're already working on in class with whatever text we might already be reading. What's nice about these two is that we're going to see some data while we're planning and while we're thinking about incorporating that writing. So I can see right here, for example, 65% class average proficiency for that text structure, organizing ideas. This might be one I want to emphasize and spend a little more time on. So that can certainly help guide your planning. If we're interested in one, we can preview just to make sure this is what we want to be assigning. We're going to stick with that demonstrate understanding. It's a good starting point. Again, we can fit this with any lesson to see where students are at and to use that as maybe a quick formative assessment. You'll also notice additional professional development here for those same exact skills. So check out the videos. If we're looking for just additional strategies to support our student skill development, these could be very helpful as well. So let's create our prompt. We're going to write a few sentences explaining the topic. We'll create our assignment. We can have them write and submit, or we could do a quick peer review. So if you want to incorporate anonymous peer review in Writable, it's a great strategy for getting students sharing and also just learning from each other. And then we'll finish it up here with our demonstrate understanding high five. So lastly, we'll share when we create that assignment. Again, great way to get started. You saw how easy it was to just create a quick prompt. That's going to copy over to my journeys and under my assignments. And if we've copied over different assignments from that My Journeys area, it's going to come into my journey section, and I can, as I'm planning, as I'm teaching throughout the year, I can track those assignments within that different skill set. I have those high fives, maybe I've created different skills, mini lessons, and my informational essay, which I'll plan at the end of the unit. Excellent. So we're very excited about Journeys. We encourage you to check it out. Could be a really good strategy for, again, getting some daily writing practice with our students. Kelly, anything I'm missing here about My Journeys before you show us some of the new content?
No, I think that's great. And I am going to go ahead and take over for sharing about our new assignment options. It's always nice to see Writable adding new things that kind of grow and support the learning needs of our students, but our teachers as well. So on that note about assignments, today I'm going to talk a little bit about some of our new assessments and some of our new advanced question types. So I'm really excited to kind of show what our team has been working on. And one of the things we wanted to talk about today or share is that in addition to new content that we're always adding in Writable, we do have some new STAR practice. So I think we have some teachers here from Texas. If you are a Texas teacher, if you are looking for assessment practice that really focuses on reading and response to reading as well as writing, you'll find some new STAR practice assignments here. So one of the things that I really wanted to show in this is when we preview the assignment, it also shows off some of our new question types. So if you've been using Writable for a while, you know we have great extended response with rubrics that are really detailed for students, but we also have short response. We've had multiple choice, graphic organizers, and just short answer. This summer, we are really excited because we added some additional types of questions here. I'm going to just show a few examples. So here we have one that is actually entering the word on the line based on the reading. In addition to that, we have our short response. You can add some sentence starters here, some support to differentiate for your students. I love this one. This is actually like an inline text selector, so you can give the students options to fit which one is going to be the best answer. And then I'm going to skip over to number 7 because this is one of our super advanced ones. But this is actually a way for students to analyze the information from the reading and do some analysis, demonstrate comprehension. So these advanced question types have been built into some of our newer assignments, but I am really excited to also share that you can build them into your own assignments. So we won't get into all that today, but I wanted to put that out there. I know I've got some here who love to build their own assignments and kind of play around. So feel free to explore these. We have a lot of resources. They'll be linked in the slides on how to add these to your assignments and make sure that your students are going an extra step on top of their writing, of course, with our rubrics and details. Now, with that being said, I am also going to jump into our assignment dashboard. So one of our biggest changes this year in Writable is a new assignment dashboard, and that is where we are going to manage and provide feedback for all of our students. Today, what I'm going to do to share that is I'm actually just going to go into an assignment I've assigned to a class. And so from my assignments, I'm clicking the assignment, I'm clicking my class, which is the Avengers. And you might notice a few changes. So right away, for those of you who have been in Writable, you see your constant grade now box, revision spotlights and practice recommendations. So these are all things that have been here for a while. If you're not sure where to start, you can always click grade now to grade what students have submitted, but I hope that you'll take some time to explore what we have here. On the left, you'll see 3 new tabs. So we have students, grade, guide, grade, and then settings. We'll talk a little about the other 2 in just a moment. And then in the students tab, you might notice that we don't have the chart anymore. We actually have a table here with some new tabs. So I'm really excited because in these tabs, we're giving you a lot of insight into how your students are doing and how they might need if they need some additional support. So one of the great things here is before your students even begin on an assignment, they're going to see in the analysis tab this pre-teach insights. So even before they've done anything in this assignment, I can actually see there are a couple of my students who are going to struggle with this skill of determining word meaning based on previous assignments. So Clint Barton and Steve Rogers, I might want to take aside and do a little bit extra work with them prior to, or just give them a little more attention as they're working through the assignment. I'll show you that in guiding grade. You can also do that for rubric items. So I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom here. I have a few more Avengers in this class. And here you can see each rubric item for this essay. So I can see what the rubric item is. This one is for introduction. And I can tell that my students seem okay here. But right now I've actually got one student based on grading that might need a little extra help, and that's Clint Barton. So this is one of the new features of our assignment dashboard students tab. The other one I wanted to share is our feedback tab here. All right, and this is, if you think about analysis of kind of question by question, how are they doing? Think of feedback as exactly that. What are their scores? How are they doing with all of the feedback tools? What I love about this is that it's very easy to see your class list. It's very easy to see where students are in the progress. So you can see which students haven't started yet, those who have submitted or working. And then the AI insights. So those of you who have been using Writable, you're probably familiar with grammar aid, revision aid, similarity, originality check. Those are going to pop up here as soon as they submit. And then as you grade or as peers and self-reviews come in, you'll also be able to get a quick view of how they're doing on the assignment overall. So those are really great new features here on the Students tab. And as you're getting to explore them, we still have the skill and standard, we still have revision spotlights, and you can export all of this information, of course, to a CSV or to whatever form works for you. So all of those features are still there. But last thing I want to kind of show on the dashboard is this guide grade section. Now, this is completely new. And what I love, what I want to share most, or what I hope you take away about guide grade, is think of this as the quickest way to see how your students are doing and engage them in feedback. So we're trying to save you time, but we also want you to be able to provide feedback to students when they can really use it, when they're in the middle of the assignment, using instant conference on the guide grade page. So we're going to take a quick example through here, and I even have Tim in my class, so we're going to kind of show some live action feedback. So you can see each question is listed out separately. I can skip between each section. So this assignment has reading questions as well as an essay section. And then if I just want to get to what do I need to review, because these are automatically graded, thanks to multiple choice, I can actually skip to next here with my little notification. And I see the question, I see the answer key, which is really nice. You can actually enable that for your peer reviews too, if you want. And I'll see each student's response. Now, as I'm going through, I can score their response based on my rubric item. So this one's pretty good. I'm going to give him a check mark. I've scored a few of these already. And I'm going to go down to Tim. Thanks for responding, Tim. I'm noticing that there are a few spelling errors here, and I could even see that before I took a close look because he's got a red by Grammar Aid. So again, we're bringing those insights to you when it matters. Since he's having some trouble, I'm going to actually send him a message. And so I'm just going to say, can you check spelling on this response, and hit enter or send. And now Tim's not sharing his screen, but he's going to actually get a notification as a student that I just sent that, and he responded back to me. So this is a great way to really engage your students. Absolutely, Tim. Yes. How can I help? Really engage your students. When you're in the classroom with them, we know a lot of them are on their own devices, and it's a little bit hard to know what they need support with. So using this feature, you can really engage back and forth with your students and make sure that feedback is helpful in the moment when they need it.
It's important to know too, your students can initiate chat with you as well. So it could be really nice to kind of give them that bridge. If you know they're a little bit hesitant to raise their hand in class and ask for a question, could be a really good could be a really good feature for them to reach out to you, the teacher.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's such a good point, Tim. So yeah, and as you mentioned, students sometimes they don't want to raise their hand. So it's kind of a nice way to have them get to do that. And then as you're going through, then they can make some changes. They can revise this at any time. So now Tim can go in and revise and resubmit. And then I can give him his score then. And once you do that, you see this little button at the top, submit completed reviews. And I've graded my papers, and it was just that quick. Now that is for short response. Again, those are mostly automatically graded. Oh, this is one we didn't show, but this one is actually for students to sort different items based on the readings. So I love that type of question. The other thing is in the essay section. So if you're using a writable assignment where you're having them write maybe an essay or a paragraph graded by a full rubric, not just one rubric item, you can skip over to here as well. You can see really quickly what your students have written. This is, again, just a really nice way. You can check Grammar Aid. Hey, I know he's having some trouble here. He's in yellow. I can go in and send a message to him. Or I can go in for some of my students who are maybe ready to go. I can start grading. If I have some students who are still working on their draft, again, that instant conference, I can help them now before they submit something that maybe they don't want me to grade. And I can always go in. I know Bruce here is ready for me to grade. Click review the submission, and it's taking me to the same grading screen as before. So it's the same grading process. If you're really comfortable with this, you can come back in here, do a full scoring of your rubric, add comments, leave highlights that attach to the rubric items with your comments. All of this is still the same. So it's really those great feedback tools, both during the assignment and after they've submitted their assignment. Now, the last thing I want to call about here is, again, feedback, 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 but that is what helps students grow. This chat with student box when you're in the full grading. operates much like it does on Guiding Grades. So you can even provide instant conference feedback here for your student. And he did a pretty great job. So we're just going to kind of say thumbs up to that. But we won't get into too much. But one thing here is also, as you're exploring, I'd love for you guys to check out this little drop down, which is a way to message groups of students. So I won't spend too much time on there, but if you wanted to ping your students who haven't maybe started an assignment, you can actually send a message to all of those students. And then this will also show the students who are on watch. So you can kind of target a little bit more on those rubrics, but that's more, once you have students really working, you can get the big benefit of that.
So just as a reminder, what I wanted to make sure everyone knows is that in this question mark in the right-hand corner, there is a tremendous amount of information and help at your fingertips. One feature that's new this year is when you click on that question mark, you can see your next steps in Writable. So if you're new this year, as you complete each one of these steps in using Writable, that will change to a green check mark. And so we wanted to make sure you knew about that. Kelly's just demonstrating how that works there. Then if you go into the Help Center, there is a section called Meet Writable. In that Meet Writable area, we have what's new in Writable. So everything that we've released will be featured here. So you can check this throughout the year as we continue to do updates. It's a great resource for you if you ever need a refresher or just want to get some more information. And then lastly, we have live support. So if you are working on an assignment or you're in with students and something is not going according to plan, you have a question that you can't find the answer to in our Help Center, feel free to send a message and our great support agents will be there to answer you pretty promptly. So just wanted to make sure that you had that information also in there. If you wanted to schedule a one-on-one meeting with us for anything related to your Writable account or needs, you can use that link to do so. And I think that we are at time. So thank you all so much for coming. We hope to see you on future webinars. Remember that Writable 101 is coming up soon. So if you haven't registered, please do so. Have a great school year and thank you again.